What's going on, everybody? This video I'm making is on how to clean your remotes, not replace them. I think a lot of times you've checked the batteries and you're sitting there, you know, the on and off works good, maybe punching in the channels by manually, but when you go to up and down and you go to volume and you're sitting there just pressing and you're pressing harder and harder and harder. But what happens a lot of times is, like I stated in the title, your remotes have high cholesterol, and that's due to eating around while you're watching TV. You get grease on your fingers and you're pressing these buttons and the grease goes right through this rubber. Years ago I was buying other remotes to you sit there and you put them together and you blink this and push in the code. The code sheet's about 4 feet by 4 feet long to find your code. That was years ago until I finally opened them up and figured out what was going on. And really, basically, there's not a whole lot. Some remotes do have a screw in the back. You'll notice that when you take your cover off the back. You'll see somewhere in here, inside the unit itself, you'll see where there's a screw in here. There's usually just one or two somewhere up top. This one doesn't have a screw. The most important thing is that you take the batteries out first. Always want to have the batteries out, and don't put them back in while you're cleaning this either. Leave them out. And what you want to do is look for a weak place, a little spot here. They're not going to give you an easy access to this. Here it is. I'm using a plastic knife. I've never used a plastic knife before, and there you lift it up right there and run it along the side until you get it to click open. There, it's already clicking open. There, I just heard it pop. And wow, look at all the peanut butter in there. There, it's snapping apart. I don't know what the rubber is they use. Ooh, there we go. And it should pop apart. And what you're gonna see, I don't know if this camera will pick it up. I'll try and shine it with the light. Is you'll see a bunch of grease on that board, especially on the numbers that aren't working. I'll shine with the lights. High cholesterol. And what I found, when I first started doing this, I was using rubbing alcohol. And I was finding that the rubbing alcohol was hurting the coating that's on this board. So what I did find eventually is lens wipes. We get these from Costco or your Sam's Clubs, and they're not real strong. If you can find those, I don't know who else sells them. So what I do is, you don't even really have to take it out of here, but I think I am, because I'm going to wash the whole board this time. Be real careful how these come out. You don't want to mess those up. It should kind of just come out, but there, leave that one in for this remote, and then you'll see there's two already on the board. But I'm going to wash this whole board this time. I mean the case, the key punch board. We're just going to clean it off with these wipes. You can do this, and what you want to do here is just you want to get all that grease off there. Look at the dirt that's on it. It picks up a lot of dirt. That's just dirt. What amazes me is that the rubber they use for the keypad, I don't know if it's silicone or one wipe there. I'll use one more. You don't want to overdo it really. That really took all the grease off there, but I'm going to give it a quick another wipe. One more. over the whole thing. And make sure the batteries aren't in it. Otherwise, if you cross any of these prongs with the alcohol, it could burn out capacitors or the little board here. I've done that before too. I cleaned one with the batteries in it and burned it out. You don't think DC's that strong, but I guess it is on something this small. Okay, now the real important part is what's crazy is this piece. I guess it's a silicone that's in here. I guess it's some sort of silicone. As you can see, even on some of the pad there, where it's shining, that there's grease there. Now comes the fun part, is getting it all out. What I'm going to do is, what you can see is these things punch, but you can see there's grease all over that. See it shining? What we have to do is run some warm water. I'll show you. And we're just going to clean this whole thing this time. Alright, here we go. What I'm going to do is use this tray. You don't want to use hot water, just warm. And Dawn dish soap. Pretty good amount of it. Throw it all in there. Yep. On this rubber pad, I'm gonna take a toothbrush, find a kind of, I have a pretty soft one here, and get down in there. If you don't get it out, it'll just mess up again. You really got to take your time and do this right and get all this grease out of there. You know, because this will last a couple of years. You won't notice it doing this again for, depending on how much you eat while you're using your remote. All right, I'm just going to continue scrubbing this for a while. I scrubbed it a good while. You didn't need to see all that, but yeah, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go blow this off with the air compressor. Get all the water and let it sit out in the sun for not this. I'm not going to let this sit in the sun, but I'll put these out in the air. I'll let this sit somewhere out in the garage and let it dry out. I let it dry. I blew it all off with my air compressor. What you want to make sure that it's real clean is you push these buttons and they pop up. And look to see if there's any grease left in there. That way you know you've done a good job getting all the grease out. Let's put it back together. Make sure you get that back in there. You can do this. This is not hard. You know, you'll see how it all fits in there. It pushes, just make sure you push it in real good. This is basically a simple remote to do. There's other remotes that are going to be a little bit more complicated. Just want to get that male receptor in there. I'm going to clean it one more time just to make sure this is good and clean. There. Let it dry off a little bit and put it back together. You'll hear it click back together. Make sure your buttons are all good. This helped you out. You know what to do. I won't show you, I guess, changing the channels on my TV because I don't know if there may be something about that on YouTube, showing channels, but I'm sure it works good. I've done this many a times, and hey, it's all done. And it doesn't take that long. I hope that helped you out, and that's it. That's all there is to cleaning it. All right, Take care. Thanks.